Trump's name appears over 3 million times in newly released Epstein Files by the Justice Department. This massive document dump has sent shockwaves through Washington as the files contain thousands of references to the former and current president. Trump has responded by claiming these files completely clear him of any wrongdoing and has announced plans to sue author Michael Wolff. However, the timing and scale of this release raises serious questions. Congressional Democrats, including Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, are demanding meetings with the Deputy Attorney General to access the full unredacted versions. The DOJ initially promised hundreds of thousands of pages, but only delivered 10,000, missing their congressional deadline. Now suddenly 3 million pages appear. Even more disturbing, 20 Epstein survivors have issued a joint statement condemning this release, saying it exposes and re-traumatizes them rather than providing genuine transparency. Legal experts are questioning whether this is a deliberate attempt to bury damaging information in an ocean of documents, making it nearly impossible for journalists and investigators to find the most significant details. ICE agents in Minnesota are facing investigation demands for alleged violence and law enforcement abuses during Trump's immigration crackdown. 2 people have died during these operations, sparking outrage from Democratic lawmakers who are now threatening to block government funding until accountability measures are implemented. The administration has conducted the most aggressive immigration enforcement actions in modern American history, but reports of excessive force and civil rights violations are mounting. Videos circulating on social media show confrontations between federal agents and community members, though their authenticity remains under verification. Immigration advocacy groups have documented over 100 complaints of misconduct in just the first month of operations. The White House has dismissed these concerns as political attacks, but even some Republican senators are privately expressing worry about the tactics being employed. Trump administration officials confirm that Iran is seriously engaging in backdoor negotiations for a potential nuclear agreement. This comes just days after Trump considered military strikes against Iran following violent crackdowns on protesters in Tehran. The sudden shift from potential warfare to diplomatic talks has caught many foreign policy experts by surprise. Sources close to the negotiations suggest Iran's economy is in catastrophic condition due to sanctions, forcing them to the bargaining table. However, hardliners in both countries oppose any deal. Trump's unpredictable approach, combining threats of force with sudden diplomacy, has created uncertainty among American allies in the Middle East. Israel has reportedly expressed concerns about being left out of these discussions. The question remains whether this is genuine diplomatic progress or another cycle of escalation and de-escalation that has characterized U.S.-Iran relations for decades. Trump is actively pursuing control of Greenland and threatening tariffs against countries that refuse to support American territorial ambitions. This extraordinary geopolitical gambit has stunned international observers and strained relations with Denmark, which maintains sovereignty over Greenland. The Danish government has called Trump's approach completely unacceptable, while Greenland's local government has firmly rejected any discussion of changing their status. Trump argues that Greenland's strategic location and natural resources make it vital for American national security, particularly given increasing Chinese and Russian activity in the Arctic. He has suggested using economic pressure and even hinted at military options to achieve this goal. NATO allies are deeply concerned that this unilateral approach undermines the alliance's cohesion. Trade experts warn that tariffs used as geopolitical weapons could trigger retaliatory measures affecting American businesses and consumers. Behind the scenes, State Department officials are reportedly working to minimize damage to transatlantic relationships, while the president pursues what many career diplomats consider an impossible and counterproductive objective. The Supreme Court has ruled against Trump's executive order attempting to end birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants, calling it unconstitutional and violating the 14th Amendment. This represents one of the few major legal defeats for the administration despite the conservative majority on the court. However, in a separate ruling that received less attention, the Supreme Court has limited the power of federal courts to issue nationwide injunctions blocking government actions. This technical legal change has massive implications, making it much harder for judges to stop potentially unconstitutional policies from being implemented. Civil rights organizations are calling this a dangerous precedent that allows the executive branch to enforce controversial measures in most of the country, even while legal challenges proceed. The administration celebrated this as restoring proper separation of powers, but legal scholars across the political spectrum have expressed alarm. This means future challenges to government overreach will be far less effective, as policies can remain in effect in states where they haven't been specifically blocked, creating a patchwork of legal protections across America.